Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Marketing Essentials. Today, I'm thrilled to be hosting three individuals who I tremendously respect, admire, and have learned so much from when it comes to creating great content, search, and practicing the art of being a good human being. We're joined today by Erica Davis, who leads strategic programs for SAP Customer Experience, Aaron Orendorf, who's the Vice President of Marketing for Common Thread Collective, and Elwyn Zachariah, who leads all things search and SEO here at SAP. A few quick reminders today before we kick things off. The sessions are short because we realize how valuable your time is. So again, thank you so much for joining us. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the chat because we will follow up afterwards and we'll reply to those requests. I highly encourage you to follow these folks on social because you'll learn so much from them. And finally, if you'd like to receive an infographic after today's session that kind of talks about the 3 top takeaways, please indicate so in the chat and we'll be sure to send it along. We've got a lot of ground to cover on a fascinating topic, so we're going to go ahead and get things started. So Erica, I'm going to kick things off with you. Your career trajectory has been just amazing to watch, and your brilliance with your work is just, it's incredible. So I'm wondering, when it comes to content inspiration, when you have a great idea or when you're in search of a great idea, how do you go about formulating things, and how has search impacted how you do your job?
Well, thank you so much. That's really, really flattering. And yeah, search honestly is probably the biggest part of what I'm doing and my life in general. I'm researching things all the time. I have a bajillion tabs open on all of my devices. So it's a blessing and a curse, right? For me, when I'm creating content, which is basically all of the time, it's always on my mind, I try to just look at things as broad as possible. So it's pretty basic, I guess, in the very beginning, looking at specifically just like forums like Quora and Reddit, checking out articles on different platforms. I really love Medium. Pocket and other newsletters are pretty much my idea aggregators, I could say. And of course, checking out visual media, I probably default to YouTube a lot, especially when it's coming to really just ideas on how anyone is really producing or talking about different topics and things like Pinterest, right? When I do know what I want to cover and I want to really address, okay, what is relevant, what are people interested in, what is the unique way that I can go about it, then I'm looking more at things like Answer the Public, which I love. I love the way that it's laid out when you're looking at specific keywords. And seeing how people what people are actually looking for. I also look at Ubersuggest and Google Trends, of course, more to really see, okay, not just the specific keywords or the most obvious ways to go about a certain topic, but rather just simple things like synonyms and different ways to phrase things, and what are the most unique approaches that might then lead to my content or my team's content getting more views. So I hope that helps a little bit.
No, it really does. It's always great to know where folks like you who just create such amazing content, how.
Oh no, is Jen frozen?
Did we lose Jen?
I don't know. I think we might have.
I'll love that answer on Answer the Public. I'll do filler, meaningful filler, as she waits. Especially Ubersuggest, and people also asked. You're right. I start with that broad thing, get down into the narrow. And if anybody out there, the best tool I know that does this is a program called ClearScope. Okay. Which is one of those kind of like SEMrush, but it's just for building content. And they just released this beta version that you can literally generate an outline and it'll bring all the people also ask questions from Google, okay, as well as the top page of results all in through it. And it's just the easiest, simplest way to just go ahead and get all of that in one place. And then literally what I've done is just go through and make sure, am I answering every one of these people also ask questions in especially a long form piece of content?
Yeah. Oh no, that sounds fantastic. I
Hello,
definitely am going to
everyone.
check that out.
Jumping in as an
after our
emergency
session.
backup host here. Obviously, we've had some technical hiccups. My name is Costa Tranafilo. I'm also co-host on this series. We're trying to get Jen back in. I'm going to jump back in and kind of steer this conversation for now while we wait for her to come in. Our sincere apologies for this technical hiccup, but the show must go on. Aaron, I think the next question is going to be headed towards you. We only have around 15, 20 minutes. We don't have too much time, but there's a lot of difficulties that we need to answer in these questions. I mean, on an SEO forum, we recently read a comment that we're paraphrasing here. They said at the beginning, over the last weekend in April, they've seen a tremendous drop in traffic in the United States, as if Google somehow was analyzing their more important content, landing pages, keywords, than terrifying accuracy shutting off the traffic. We know there's a lot of pressure for brands to maintain that kind of holy grail of their content, page returns, get them high up. Unfortunately, it's not that simple to do, right? I mean, what are your words of inspiration for people to kind of get their hopes of saving content and SEO to bridge it forward and make sure that they're still surviving?
I am probably one of those most maniacally focused on details, person, content, SEO that I know. So that being said, hopefully this is more of just an existential alleviation for people out there. I literally do not pay attention to Google updates. Because one, I have a hard time figuring them out. They're shrouded in mystery. Is there anything you can actually do about it? What I set as my real North Star. So the one side of things I do pay attention to is Google page speeds, and especially core website vitals. That is one that I'm paying a lot of attention to, which is all about the on-page experience that Google thinks the user gets based on its machine crawling bot of your page. So I've said, if you're going to pay attention to one technical side of things, make it core website vitals that's inside Google Search Console, so you can view it there, or simply use Page Speed Insights, which is also Google's, and you can run individual pages, your homepage, your top landing pages, your most trafficked blog posts. Limit it to like 5 or 10, because usually it's one of those things that if you can improve those 3 sets of types of pages, if you can get it to pass or just hire somebody to help you do that, then that's where the biggest bang for your buck comes with anything on the technical side to save it. And Jen is back.
Yes.
I'm going to jump out.
On my iPad, so I apologize for the camera situation. Have no idea what happened, but our Alwyn's gone too.
Well, I'm here. My video is gone, but I'm here through audio.
Okay, so welcome to Live in Modern Times. I'm so sorry. So I'm assuming one of them asked my Star Wars question that I was so excited to ask you, Aaron, but
I answered the first half of it, which is basically I don't pay attention to algorithm updates. I pay attention to core website vitals. That's the one that Google seems to be using more and more and more, and will continue to use more and more in rewarding the technical side of SEO. Speed, and especially, this is the wonkiest thing, CLS, cumulative layout shift. That is Google's approximation of, on mobile, on desktop, how much does it think when someone loads the page, do things move as a result of primarily videos, images, and plugins. So I am ruthlessly focused on making the page as lightweight as possible and getting that CLS, cumulative layout shift, as low as I can, right, on the technical side.
right. And I love that you're saying that, because one of my goals in life is to like get my developer to actually come on one of these sessions, because he's like, please stop looking at, don't look at that console anymore. Like, because I'm always asking questions. Okay, what can we do here? What can we do there? We've been working on, speeding things up on our end, for almost a year. So I know one of the tricks, we switched over to SVG. Is there anything that you shared that you did to speed things up with your image?
Yeah. I'll drop a link into it, because I'm like, I am not an SEO doctor, but I play one on the internet. That's like my big caveat to everything. I am not technical. And every month I get in trouble with our developer for like, dude, what'd you do over the weekend kind of thing. But I think the benefit of that is I'm very not technical. And so I use the just Chrome Inspect tool. And there's a tab inside Chrome Inspect called Performance, where you can actually run it on the right-hand side or pop it out and then scroll for like 8 seconds. And it'll literally show you what are the things that it's hitting. And so then I just go into the code and you can search for whatever the plugin's called, the JavaScript's called, and I just turn it off, reload the page, see if it broke anything.
Right.
And if it didn't, I roll with it. One thing down the list to make it faster. It's a little bit trial and error. I try to do it on the weekends very early in the morning.
Yeah, because that would probably get you in a lot of trouble with your developer. So that he's like, we have a staging site for a reason. Please stop. So thank you. And Elwin still here?
I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna go ahead with the question anyway,
Yeah.
Elwin. So I wanted to talk about actually the page experience update. So we know last year it was supposed to kick in. They delayed it, and then they've delayed it again and said that they'll start rolling out the page experience updates mid-June, and that we'll feel the full effect by the end of August, whatever that means. So you're often by Xanax to the all caps messages of what is going on with our traffic? It's making no sense. So I'm wondering if you could share with folks, the advice that you have for, how to approach the update and how to prepare.
Absolutely, Jen. First off, thank you for having me along with these eminent experts on their topics. And Aaron, that makes two of us who are not extremely technical, but also don't focus a lot on the algorithm updates, but focus on the essentials, right? And Jen, you're well aware, right? I mean, you're definitely not new to this. Since 2015, right? Google's been progressively making enhancements, right? They've, with regard to page experience signals, whether you call it mobile friendliness or safe browsing or using a secure protocol, avoiding, intrusive interstitials. But now Google's sort of racing the ante, right? They're moving up the experience chain, in my view, to now also include device and user experience on page load, right? Exactly what Aaron mentioned earlier. So they've introduced a set of measures that's based on slowest connection. They've put, based on slowest connection, what is the bare minimum criteria you need to meet. So they are looking for how long would it take for your main content on the page to load. That's, largest contentful pane. I think Aaron touched upon it. How long before the page is interactive for the user, that is first input delay. And then another point that Aaron talked about, they're also looking at the visual stability of the page, right? Cumulative layout shift. Is the page stable on load? But to respond to these changes, short term and long term, I'm going to take a slightly different approach in answering the question on how business leaders should view these changes, right? So first, content is most certainly an essential element to a successful content marketing strategy, but content alone cannot get you success. Experience matters, right? The choice of platform that the content thrives on should matter. Your site and your content structure should matter. How your visitors experience the content on the site across your various digital landscapes and across devices, they should matter. Essentially, how your customers, prospects, and influencers experience your site and its content is inseparably tied to your brand experience. That's what we need to sort of collectively agree on, right? And secondly, second point, content marketing is a team effort. It's not a one-man show, right? It's a success dependent on diverse set of functions. Your IT function, your UX, your design, your information architecture, your SEO teams, your subject matter experts, your writers, your publishing team, your social media, all of these. It takes a village. And what's more important, you all have to be singing from the same song sheet, right? Third, content marketing is about delivering value to your visitors, whether they are your customers, prospects, and influencers. So delivering this value, to Erica's earlier point, is rooted in research, right? And that means first obtaining a clear understanding of the challenges your customers and prospects are trying to solve, and then communicating in a language that they understand plainly. It is important. You have to communicate in a language that your customers understand. And as a result, helping them navigate the information needs journey. And content marketing is not really about selling, right? If that's what we view it, it's completely wrong. But rather, it's about helping customers, right? And as a 20-year digital marketing veteran with a broad and deep exposure to, to most digital marketing functions in an organization, I can say that I'm overly biased in favor of search. And the reason I preface that statement is now to give three main takeaways from my perspective, right? First, content marketing is all about getting found. There is no point in you building content that nobody can find, right? Or you're sort of coming with a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. Your brand experience starts in the search engine's results page. So that is very important to get through our thought process. Your brand experience, definitely your website is important, but it really starts on the search results experience page. And there are tools of the trade that you can achieve that. Mm-hmm. And finally, third, in order to win in digital marketing, you must win in search. So that's the third point. And so with that, that's the sort of long spiel I just made. Sorry if it took that long.
No.
Can I jump in? Oh my gosh.
Yes, please.
When you said in the language they speak, oh, that is because that's the merging together of the technical SEO side, all the find out what other questions are, what are the semantic keywords, what are the synonyms, right? All of that stuff is that's the technical, what people often call the robot side of things, but it's not. Those are the words humans are using to look and understand things. And from my end, the takeaway is, if nothing else, the only way to ensure that is to get another real live human being who is not necessarily a subject matter expert to read it out loud to you one-on-one. Every new employee that comes into CTC, I have to do a shadowing with. I'm the VP of marketing. I got to get to know them. And that's literally what we do for over half the session is I just drop a piece on them that's brand new, just about to come out. And it's awkward as F. But they just read it out loud. And by the end of it, they've collaborated with me. We've chopped it up. They've put their own twist on it. It's so much better. Takes a village. Yes, all of those things I echo.
Definitely. And, in talking to the language of the customer, recently with my B School, we did a lot of work in relation to South Africa, and Nelson Mandela obviously was, sort of a key figure in all of the research we did. And there's one sentence quote, one of his quotes, he says, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart. And that's the key to content marketing.
Yeah, I love that so much. And that's, I think, one of my takeaways is the growth hacker evolution, right, is kind of like, it really does take a lot of great experts in a lot of areas, like all sitting together and working together to create a piece of content. And Aaron, I love the idea of like having people read it out loud and having those sessions, because I think when you do have great content, there's kind of an assumption that it's just simple or easy. And it's actually, if you knew how much effort and work goes into every single word on every single page, it's like you'd have no idea. That's why I loved the quote that you had put on Twitter when you had said, yeah, I'm happy to share my ideas, because the answers around great content, it's like you don't want to hear them, and it's very few people who will actually do all of the work to get there. So we are out of time today. So I just want to thank you all again. I'm so sorry about the technical glitches. Thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to leave comments and questions. We'll be sure to get that information back to you. And we're going to be back here again on May 20th, where we're talking social commerce, which, interestingly enough, last year they had a lot more search volume for the people who ended up actually buying products. So it's a really fascinating topic. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.